Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Saturday, May 10th, 2025. Let me know right now in the stream team if you can hear me and see me, because I can't hear anything in my cans, but I think it's getting out to you, the people joining me here on Saturday. I'm Skeets in the yard, here to break down last night's two NBA games. And I will pause for a second and make sure everybody can hear me. Okay, we're good. We're good. Before we get into the games, huge shout out to everybody joining me live on YouTube. I know y'all got to be tired of me saying, smash the like button, subscribe, share the show. You're like, okay, enough already. I've done it. But it does help No Dunks get in front of other people. We appreciate it. And numbers have been great here in the playoffs. And I think we've been helped out by some very entertaining playoffs. Podcast listeners, I hope your weekend is off to a great start. Don't forget to call your mom this weekend. We had a wild start to our Saturday. Sitting at the kitchen table with Nora, I don't know, maybe like an hour or so ago. Suddenly the house like rumbled for a second, like maybe a second and a half. Sort of looked at each other like, was that the wind? Or did we got sort of construction going on behind us? Like I thought maybe they dropped a huge steel plate and it just sort of shook our area. 20 minutes later, Nora's like, oh, I guess there was a earthquake in Tennessee. So we felt it here in Atlanta. A little wild. Haven't been in too many earthquakes. I mean, it was nothing here in Atlanta, but the house shook. It was crazy. Anyway, that was fun. Also, happy Wedgie Day to all who celebrate. Yes, May 10th is Wedgie Day. I think for two reasons. I'm fairly certain that this is the day Marcus Smart stuck the infamous wedgie number 50 back in the 2016-17 season. So we had been tracking it for a couple of years on the show, and that was the first year we finally hit 50, that magical number that we were always aiming for. And it happened, I believe, on May 10th, I think. And then the second reason, which we just shoehorned in to make it Wedgie Day today, is because 5, the month of May, 10, the day, 5 times 10, 50. So there you go. Happy Wedgie Day. And speaking of those, we could use one. We haven't had a wedgie in over 2 weeks at this point. So I think today, Saturday, May 10th would be the perfect day for one. And if I want to be greedy, 2 wedgies, because we got 2 games on today. Let's get one in each game. And that would get us to 50 because we've been stuck on 48 for a very, very long time now. So let's do it. A Madison Square Garden wedgie, and then a wedgie in the other series that I'm literally drawing a blank on right now. Oh, yeah, the Wolves series. So hopefully we get that. Let's get into last night's games. That's enough of me rambling, and it's cool to see everybody here on a Saturday again in the chat. I guess we'll tackle these in order. Yeah, why not? And I'll throw this up for everybody. I am producing here behind the scenes as well. But Donovan Mitchell scoring 43. Cavs beat the Pacers 126-104. So it turned out into a blowout in the end. They cut the series deficit 2-1. So they still trail. The road team hot in this series. The home team can't win a game. But I thought last night, Cavs looked a lot more like the Eastern Conference's top team for a majority of that game. And I'll get into the guys coming back. But I think you still got to start with Donovan Mitchell, who, yeah, he got some help. But this guy posted his second straight 40-point game to get Cleveland to the victory. He finished with 43 points, 14 of 29 shooting, 9 boards, 5 assists, and really, the final score does and was a bit of a blowout. But Donovan Mitchell refused to let another fourth quarter lead slip away because the Pacers, despite trailing a lot for a majority of the game, I think they got it to 11. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was 9 or 11, but it was reasonable there in the fourth quarter, and Mitchell shut the damn door. He hit a little fadeaway from about 12 or 13 feet. Then he stepped up, hit a pull-up three-pointer. That was huge. And then I think he found Max Strus for another three-pointer. So making all the right plays and sort of ended any sort of potential Pacers comeback to get them the win. But this guy is one of the greatest scorers in playoff history. I believe he ranks top 10 in terms of points per game in the playoffs. And it was I was thinking about it when I was making the thumbnail for this show. It's we obviously have playoff Jimmy Butler. who did some pretty miraculous things in taking some sort of subpar teams and lower seeded teams and raising his game to the finals. Obviously didn't win the big thing, but he obviously got there, and that was huge. Warranted the nickname Playoff Jimmy. We have Playoff Murray or Playoff Jamal. You sort of see both with Jamal Murray, who we'll get to later in this podcast. That one makes sense. Obviously, never an all-star. His numbers like balloon in the postseason. He got the title along with Jokic. He's had huge shots and big, like 50-point games and all that. But for whatever reason, we don't have the moniker Playoff Mitchell or Playoff Donovan. And I guess I think there's 3 reasons. The first, as I went through with the other guys, like Mitchell's never made it past the second round. So I think that's part of the equation, right? You got to get to conference finals. You got to get to finals to really warrant that playoff nickname. The other part is it doesn't sound as cool. Like when you look at it and when you say it, like playoff Jimmy, that's gold. Playoff Jamal or playoff Murray sort of both work. Playoff Mitchell, that doesn't hit for me. I guess playoff Dono. I know he sort of goes by Dono for Donovan. Even that. So just unfortunately named, I think, but he's an awesome playoff riser is my whole point of this spiel. And was once again amazing. And he got some help in game 3. Unlike game 2 where he tried to do everything and he probably ran out of gas at the end. He was living at the free throw line. He just kept attacking. He was doing that again in game 3, but he got some help because the guys came back. Defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley, key backup player, DeAndre Hunter. Those guys returned from their injuries in game 2. That kept them out of game 2. They picked up in game 1. And then Darius Garland also returned from the toe injury that kept him out for like 4 straight. And, I think Mobley, the best of the bunch. I thought Garland, obviously a little limited, though it was just probably nice to have another guy to handle the ball and run the offense a little bit to allow Mitchell to rest in some possessions. Mobley was the best of them, though. 18 points, 13 boards, 4 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Him and his twin tower buddy, Jared Allen, who had 19 points, 12 boards, they allowed, especially Mobley, Kenny Atkinson throw a lot of 3-2 zone at the Pacers, and it made Indiana look pretty stagnant, took away that zip that we've fallen in love with from that Pacers team, and sort of like helped like take away the 3-point shot of the Pacers as well. Indy shot 9 of 30 from deep. Haliburton only 1 3-point attempt in this game. And I got more to say about him. But Mobley, I mean, that's the difference maker. Obviously, he was like throwing down some lobs as well. He had a few where he fumbled out of bounds. And again, there was maybe a little rust or whatever. But I thought the ankle looked good. I thought he looked pretty explosive, both offensively, like I said, with the lobs, and defensively moving around and taking care of the glass. And he really allowed Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs to sort of implement that zone because you got him in the middle. And he's a hell of a good defensive player. I mean, DPOY for crying out loud. Cavs just dominated the Pacers on the glass, especially with their 2 bigs back in the lineup. I think in the first half, Indy had like 2 offensive rebounds, 4 second chance points. Cleveland at the same time, 13 offensive rebounds, 21 second chance points. So, that was helped them get the big lead. Didn't get much better in the second half for Indiana. It was like a little bit better, but they were dominated on the glass. I thought this was one of Miles Turner's sort of like worst games. Like the box score doesn't look brutal. I mean, I take that back. It's not good. 15 points. He got some free throws. He hit 1 3, but like no rebounding. 3 boards for Miles Turner. That's going to be a problem. Yeah, he picked up a couple blocks, but a lot of fouls as well. They were frustrated, Pacers, in this game. I think they had 5 technical fouls. And that was, credit to the Cavs. Obviously, it was like do or die. Their season was on the line. If they go down 3-0, they're not coming back. So they needed this one. Those guys they play through injuries. I think they had been getting maybe some eye rolling in the media of like, guys, I get it. Banged up thumbs, twisted ankles, okay, the toe injury, which I'm sure is very severe and very painful. And I'm saying all these injuries are, but there are other guys going through this stuff. We know of it. We've seen it. And it's at this point, it's like you might just have to play through the pain a little bit. And just like the mental boost, I think that gives your other guys on the roster like, damn, this guy's going to play through this. We know how injured he is. That maybe sort of like spreads throughout the locker room. And they contributed too. I mean, they're still Evan Mobley at 80% is still better than anyone else on the Cavs bench. So there's that part as well. So it was cool to see those guys play. And I think we do have a series here now if they can continue to play and nobody else really gets all that injured. Back to Haliburton. 4 points, 2 of 8 shooting, only 5 assists, 3 turnovers. I don't think he grabbed a rebound. His first career home loss in a postseason game that he's played in. I was like, whoa. But big credit to limiting Haliburton goes to Max Strus. Full court pressure. I thought that set the defensive tone for this team. It slowed Haliburton. Strus also contributed, by the way, 20 points, 7 boards, 7 assists. But it was the defense up in his shorts, nothing easy, and a little more physicality from this team. And maybe they were allowed to do that, the Cavs thought, because they had some guys back and some bodies back and some more minutes, and you could play a little harder. So I thought Strus did an incredible job on Haliburton. It was weird to see Haliburton. Like, that was a big disappearing act from him. And you had like sort of Mathurin trying his best to keep him in it at times. Siakam had his moments in this game, but overall, I mean, Haliburton is what makes the Pacers go, even if he's not a guy that's going to score 30 or 40. For him to have 1 3-point attempt, to obviously have, close to as many turnovers as assists, that's just a huge, huge win. So good job by Strus and the Cavs. My other note, on the negative side of things for Cleveland, despite the win, Ty Jerome struggled again last night. This guy, I think that the minutes, you don't want to lose him completely, and you're not going to like bench him by any means, because maybe he pops off, but he had 2 points last night, 1 of 8 shooting. I think he only played 13 minutes. That's got to be one of his shortest stints in a very long time. So Kenny Atkinson is pulling that back a little bit because he can't hit a shot. He's 10 of 42 through 3 games. So something to keep an eye on, whether those minutes stay around there, diminish a little bit, and they go to a couple other guys. And you were helped out by Hunter, obviously, giving you at least 20 off the bench, who was fine. He's going to out there for defensive purposes. He hit 1 3, and it was okay. It looked like a guy that maybe had a buggered thumb. So maybe I'll get better as we go on. But good win, sort of fun that the Cavs got this, I think, because we want these series to go long. We want to. How amazing would it be if we get 4 Game 7s in these in the second round? So Cavs making it interesting. Moving on to the second game from last night, entertaining overtime. I was going to say thriller, but I don't think you need to throw thriller on there because we had some potential huge game-winning shots at the end that didn't go down, got to overtime, and the Nuggets. It was one of those classic overtimes. We see this so many times where it's like just one team rolls. I think it was 11-2, right? For Denver in the end in the overtime period. But fun game and nice comeback again from the Nuggets. And it was a weird game because our superstars were really struggling, but it was the other guys on Denver coming through. It was sort of like Murray, Porter, Aaron Gordon outclassing J-Dub and Chet Holmgren. And it was like, again, your two MVP superstars in Jokic and SGA. They had some rough games here, but it was these guys duking it out. I do think OKC's inexperience, once again, I guess if we're going to be honest, was on display down the stretch, especially in overtime. And we'll get into Shea and maybe his decision-making down the end. But the flip side is true too. So if we're saying the inexperience of OKC, I thought the experience of Denver playing it feels like Denver Nuggets have played over last 3 or 4 years with basically this core. So many of these games that come down to the wire. And I think Bill Simmons even tweeted last night with this postseason specifically, Denver is 6-4 in the playoffs overall record, but they're 4-0 now in these digging deep, nail biting swing games. And that doesn't seem like an accident. Again, that was Simmons' tweet. A lot of truth to that. They just make the big plays down the stretch. They bring the physicality. They're composed enough because they got the reps. They have 1 million of these reps. And it felt like OKC looked a little shook at times as this got close, and even in the overtime period when obviously you just reset the thing and it's 0-0. The superstars struggling was weird. Jokic, 20 points, 8 of 25 shooting. He missed all 10 of his three-pointers. I was going to say he joked after the game, but he wasn't joking. He was like, I was the worst player out there tonight. He matched a playoff career high by committing 8 turnovers. You got to wonder, will that be the last time he shows up to the arena dressed as the Joker? Because when you saw that, be honest, everyone, I thought he was probably going for 50 and 30. Oh, God, the guy's literally coming dressed as the Joker? I should have went and checked what he put up. What was somebody in the stream team? What was his stat line that one time he showed up dressed as Gru? Well, maybe cosplay is not good for Jokic because he struggled here. Though he did have a big, he had that little driving layup on the opening possession of overtime. That gave the Nuggets the lead for good. And because OKC only managed to score 2 points in the extra frame. But yeah, it was an off night for him. I mean, one of his worst games we've ever seen him play, maybe like not even just playoffs, like period. In terms of shooting, 0 for 10 was crazy. He had the game-winning attempt at the end of regulation, fading away in the corner. Probably could have got a better look, but it's also this guy. It's like, yeah, he could hit that. And you're almost like, well, he's almost due to hit one. It wasn't far off, but obviously didn't drop. SGA, meanwhile, just as awful. 7 of 22. He had 18 points, 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter. Didn't even get a shot attempt in overtime. And according to ESPN research, 18 of SGA's 22 field goals attempted were contested. He was 4 of 18 in half-court sets. He was 3 of 10 when Christian Brown was the primary defender. This guy did a pretty damn good job on Harden. He did a great job, along with Murray, in this game against SGA. They just threw a lot of guys at him, and it really looked like SGA was forcing it down the stretch last night. And you wonder how this game would have gone if SGA had delegated a little bit more to J-Dub, who was cooking and had one of his best games ever in the postseason. There was obviously SGA was passing like tons, and he would have had way more assists if some of these guys could have hit some shots too. But he really was like confident, of course, the guy is, that he was going to be the one to close the door. And there was like 2 or 3 guys draped all over him, and he was like, the whistle was tight for them, and he wasn't getting to the free throw line all that much. I think he only had 5 free throw attempts in the game. So good job by Denver to like not bite on a lot of things, keep your hands up, move your feet. I'm just double checking. Yeah, 3 of 5 SGA at the line. So that's a win in of itself. But yeah, he just forced it. I thought he was just forcing some weird shots. And this guy's like definition of cool and fluid and smooth. And he was the opposite down the stretch last night. So again, it was J-Dub hitting all the big shots and maybe a little bit more of him, and they pull off game 3 victory. But SGA walking off the court had a huge smile on his face, sort of creepy. It's like, what does this guy know? He said it was his reaction to like taunting from Nuggets fans. And again, he's a cool cucumber, this guy. And he talked about it in the post-game comments, stuff like that. So his confidence, I don't think, is going to waver. Both of these guys, Jokic and SGA, you should never gamble because you'll probably just lose. But whatever their line is in terms of points or totals for points, rebounds, assists, like I feel pretty good hitting the over in the next game, despite the defensive effort from both teams and trying to just take those guys away. And maybe this is going to be a series where it is the other guys that have to come through. One of the guys that did, Aaron Gordon, game-tying 3, 28 seconds left. Did Chet just fall asleep and just lose him? Like took his eyes off him, and Gordon wisely went to the corner. It got swung over to him. He was wide open. Holmgren obviously tries to close out, but way too late. He bangs it home because the guy can't miss. Just everybody go live in a basketball gym and we'll all make the NBA. Aaron Gordon's 3rd game-tying or go-ahead bucket in the final 30 seconds of the fourth quarter during these playoffs, including the game-winning 3 in game 1 of this series. Guy's clutch right now. And it was like, it's at the point where it's like, when that got swung to him and he was wide open, it's like, that's him. Like, what are they doing? Like, this guy, he's got all the confidence in the world. So Gordon, Jamal Murray, and the one-armed man, Michael Porter Jr., I thought they all rose to the occasion. They carried Joker. Michael Porter Jr. in the first half especially, it was the one scoring. He finished with 21 points, 8 boards. Gordon, 22, 8, and 5. And then Jamal Murray, playoff Jamal. 27 points, 8 assists, 4 steals. He had some beautiful plays in this game. That jelly layup that he had in the third quarter, I think it was, a thing of beauty. He hit a jumper late in the game. I think it was ruled a 2, if I remember correctly. He was close to the 3-point line. He had Hartenstein on an island, and he banged that one home in the corner. And then probably the biggest play, sort of sealed the win, was the play in overtime where he had quick hands on J-Dub. The ball poked loose. Nuggets in transition. Jamal got it, obviously, and was gunning the other way. There was defenders back. I think Dort was back. There was another Thunder player in the mix. And it felt like Jamal, I know he did it, I'm exaggerating, but it felt like he switched hands like 5 times and then finished at Dort over the rim. And that sort of was like the one that I think sort of was the nail in the coffin at that point in the game, especially with how the Nuggets defense was locked in overtime. So great game from those three. These are all champions, man. They're all champs. Like, yeah, Jokic is the man, but they don't win that title without all three of those guys contributing, in different situations, in different series and stuff like that. So that trio, again, AG, MPJ, and playoff Jamal, 11 to 17 from 3-point range. So huge stuff from them. Really, really, I thought, entertaining game. And this entire postseason is just unreal. I was at a friend's party last night before the first game, or at least I got back around halftime and caught up. And these are some casual NBA fans, but man, everyone was like, how awesome are these playoffs? Like, how sick are these games? All these comebacks, huge shots, feels like every night. And a lot of talk was like, this feels wide open too. So there's like, again, we went over this on Friday's show. It's like, could you make the case that all 8 teams could win the title? Yeah, I think you can make the case for sure, legitimately, that all 8 teams could meet in the finals. You know what I mean? There's a path for all of them here. And I think a lot of people get a kick out of that. So like that idea of parity, I guess right now, or at least at this stage, is great. And I'm sure we were helped out by some of the 60-win teams losing a couple games at home. I'm talking Cleveland. I'm talking Boston. You got OKC here flirting with 70 wins. They now trail in their series, so they got to face some adversity. Obviously, the Wolves, Warriors, that sort of, you can convince yourself it can go both ways. Can Curry get back in time? Does he even come back? Because Minnesota, can they take care of business? So anyway, it's awesome. The buzz is real. The casuals are locked in. And it's a great time to be a basketball fan right now. I'm very excited for Game 3 today in Madison Square Garden, Celtics-Knicks. What's a ticket to get into this place right now? $2,000? I'm not probably even exaggerating. It's very expensive, whatever it is. I would be a little fearful if I was a Knicks fan dropping $2,000 on this game. I'm like scared. You got to be a little scared that this is like suddenly, maybe like we saw with Cleveland last night, a bit of a beatdown. Maybe the Celtics 3-point tsunami drops. But the Knicks are scrappy, so hopefully it's a close game. That one's on ABC, and then we got Wolves-Warriors, Game 3, series tied at 1-1 tonight on ABC. So nice little schedule here. Rainy day here in Atlanta. Won't be doing a whole lot, not hitting a patio or anything, so we'll be locked in for this one, and then 2 more games on Sunday. But we'll call it there. We'll keep it quick. Appreciate you all joining me for 20 or 25 minutes. Oh, I was going to say one more thing. I saw this tweet from Worldwide Wob, because this goes back to the Denver game. And I'll just read Wob's tweet and then react to it. Did we really just come out of the commercial 2 seconds before that buzzer beater was launched by Jokic? 0 buildup, 0 setup. Jokic for the win? No good. We'll be right back after this. End quote on that tweet from Rob. Yeah, what the hell? I mean, I get it. You got to get these commercials in. They pay a lot of money for this stuff, but man, it's just sad. It's like, guys, he's dead on here. Like, this is a huge Game 3. It's been an entertaining game. We're going to have like the multi-time MVP is likely going to get the ball and have a crack at winning this thing. And it's like, we had to jam in that commercial. We come right back. We're like, oh, there it's going on. Okay, no, see you later. We'll be right back after the break. So bad, man. Get your commercials in earlier. What are you doing, ABC? Or ESPN, I should say. Same family. Anyway, we'll end on that weird note. Otherwise, playoffs have been awesome. Thanks for joining me. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. We just did 5-star Friday yesterday, so maybe you'll get your review for our show on the next one next month. Everybody stay safe. Again, don't forget to call your mom this weekend. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day weekend. And, maybe we'll see you later today or tomorrow if these other Game 3s can deliver as much as last night's. All right, appreciate you all. Everybody, oh, you know what? Let me hit you. Let's hit you with a clipper, bro. I wasn't ready for this. Yeah, you want to see Brian Windhorst doing the fingies? There's Windhorst doing the fingies. You want to see me in a weird hat? There's me in a weird hat, weird Raptors hat. That's probably good. All right, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
All right, guys. You embrace the NBA playoff basketball. We'll see you soon.